Being in Iraq was a pretty wild experience. Essentially, the country descended into chaos while I was there. Hi, I'm Jim Krane. I'm the Wallace Wilson Fellow for Energy Studies at the Baker Institute Center for Energy Studies. CES is sort of a second career for me. I was a journalist for about 18 years, worked at newspapers in the U.S., and then worked at the Associated Press in New York, and then got sent to Iraq. So I covered the U.S. invasion of Iraq and the aftermath of that for about a year and a half. And then moved to Dubai and worked there for about 4.5 years. Some of that as a journalist, some of it as a consultant to the ruler. So I worked in the ruler's office for a while doing a project for him, and then wrote my own book about Dubai. Then after that, I did a PhD, went to University of Cambridge in the UK, did my PhD there. And then after I finished that, came here to the Baker Institute. So one of the things I write about a lot is the energy intensity of life in the Persian Gulf region. So in the UAE or Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or Oman or Qatar or Bahrain, life in those countries is incredibly energy intense. Carbon emissions per capita in all of those countries are higher than even in the U.S., where our carbon emissions are already so high, nationally on a per capita basis. Individuals in that region or life in that region is even more carbon intensive. So I was, that was the thing that struck me about living there, was that, it required so much energy. It's so hot, very humid also, and you needed, air conditioning basically to do anything. I mean, even the bus shelters on the sides of the roads are air conditioned in Dubai. So, they're absolutely everything is air conditioned, and that's where most of the energy is expended, in cooling buildings, basically. They also expend a lot of energy in making drinking water, because there's no rivers or permanent lakes, on the entire Arabian Peninsula, right? So they have to make their water out of the sea by desalinating seawater. I'd like to have an impact in that region by trying to suggest some policy options that might help them overcome some of these problems. And I'd also like the research to impact us here in the West, here in the United States, to try and show, the really tight spot and difficult straits that these countries find themselves in, and, ways that we might be able to play a constructive role in, at least having some sympathy and hopefully providing some assistance with some of these issues. So I like to, try and assist on both sides.